Friends actually suggested I should start DJing because they saw how much I like music, and it was sort of the last thing on my mind.
I never intended to be a DJ ever at all. I was making some artwork for a guy who owned a nightclub, and he came around to look at the finished art and came into my house and saw all of my records and said, "What are you doing with all this music?" And I said, "Well, I love music, you know, I play it." And he said, "Why don't you come and play it in the club?" And I went, "Nah." And he said, "I'll pay you." I went, "What?" So that was when I first kind of realised that, you know, I could earn money doing this.
We'd stay up late and watch Rage on television. Central Station Records used to advertise on television at that time. That's how I discovered them. I then go to the record shop, discovered that there was far more electronic music than I knew. Because I was going to pursue drama, the plan was to be an actor, and then I realised no one ever said anything good about my acting. They just said that, you know, you have a reasonably clear voice, maybe radio could be a thing. I did a radio course. From that, got into community radio, and because I was just playing the music that I enjoyed, it inevitably became electronic music. And so I was amongst the first wave of radio shows in Adelaide that played electronic music. There was just a handful of us. And then, of course, it became a very big and popular thing many years down the track.
When I was 12, I remember going to a mate's house, and his brother had decks and he had records, and he was like acid house type of stuff, you know? And it was like, wow, this is interesting, and just mucking around with the turntables and just listening to music. And I was like, wow, this is great, you know?
Well, you know, initially when I discovered the rave scene, it just seemed like a bunch of misfits all getting together and listening to this unusual rave music, and everyone was an individual and everyone was different, and that's what drew me to the rave scene initially. This is the site of the First Enchanted.
First Enchanted Forest.
Lockyer Park,
yep.
Just next to Stirling.
Yep. If you had a look that way, which will probably show you a bit later, it's a lot thicker than what it was when we first here. The reason why we did the first secret location is you can actually see the road and you can see this from there, so fencing would have been way massive budget increase, which we weren't going to do. So we decided secret location would be the ticket to actually make sure people bought tickets and you know, didn't jump the fence, because the fence is just there and it's pretty easy to jump.
I could say I learnt how to DJ to people when I was very young, when I used to fill the jukebox at the Port London Football Club and collect bottles, and I used to love music back then, even then, and I used to watch people react to certain songs. So after collecting records and growing up at probably into my 17s and 18s, I landed my first DJ gig at the Mars Bar, which is an institution. And it's the first gay nightclub in Adelaide. And back then, females weren't really allowed to win DJ boxes. So the first DJ that preceded me, she actually was asked to tape down her tits and wear a hat at the first party she ever played at, but she ended up moving to Sydney. I stepped back in straight after that and managed to land a resident gig.
I was really into hip-hop in my teens, and I always looked up to Ice Cube. But it just happened that a friend of mine bought some decks and he goes, right, I'm the DJ, you're the MC, and gave me a mic, and I was like, what the fuck do I do? You know? And we just started mucking around, and yeah, and then I went to Discovery, but I was gonna stay there just for a little bit because I had to play footy the next day. And all of a sudden, like, they hand me the mic and like get on stage. I'm like, what? I've never MC'd in front of people before, man. I was just fucking around with my mate, you know?
When I first started DJing, I didn't have the two turntables and the mixer. It was more practicing off a tape deck and one turntable, and just practicing the mix from a tape deck to a turntable, just like that. Trying to get things lined up and getting your BPMs matched up.
I was just so fascinated by vinyl, and I just had to be a part of it. So not long after, I went out and bought some Technics, and I locked myself in my room, and I just bought $100 from MTME and learnt about, that musical tool, and it went from there. So I think coming through as a female who liked a very underground sound and played vinyl, I think naturally that's how I fell into DJing, because we're quite rare in that sense.